It's time to get freaky and frightening. TV has gone seriously supernatural.
Sometimes I'm like, what bizarre turn has my life taken?
Find out how the actors like being kept in the dark.
We're just pawns in this game.
Which spooky series is actually haunted.
Lights that had never gone off before all of a sudden go off.
And learn the ins and outs of creating must-scare television.
For me, the hardest thing of being on this show is that I cannot be affectionate towards the ghosts.
Cast and crews from your favorite shows help answer questions to some of the things that go bump in the night.
You never see it on Smallville unless we want you to see it.
This is 25 Things You Didn't Know About Supernatural TV.
And nothing gives you pleasure like watching an ear melt on the pavement.
Number 1. Supernatural TV casts are often left in the dark. With out-of-this-world storylines, incredible effects, heart-stopping cliffhangers, and rabid fans, the plots on supernatural shows have to be kept under wraps, sometimes even from the stars. Number 2. Vancouver is home to the supernatural. When it comes to fantasy TV, Vancouver is the place to be.
It's a gorgeous city, and it's got anything you need. Desert and water and mountains and flatlands and, marshy lands and whatever you need, you got there.
Vancouver is just a 2-hour flight from LA and is home to network shows Smallville and Supernatural, as well as cable series The 4400, Stargate SG-1, Stargate Atlantis, and Battlestar Galactica.
We spent 9 months up here where I'm pretty much all I do is work.
Welling and I are good buddies, and Rosenbaum and I, and so that crew or that cast over there, I talk to them, play golf with Tom a lot.
It's great food, fun people. It's a gorgeous town and safe for the most part. And I don't know, it's a fun city.
I like Canada. It rains a lot, an enormous amount. The people are friendly.
Vancouver does get a lot of rain, but we find a lot of ways to shoot, and you never see it. You never see it on Smallville unless we want you to see it.
Supernatural is great in Vancouver because it's gray, it's cloudy, it's depressing. It's a perfect atmosphere for a show of this genre.
Number 4. Creating supernatural magic takes more than a spell. Once the script's been written, it's time to bring those words to life. Creating an episode of a supernatural TV show can take roughly 2 months from pre-production to air.
We do a little movie every 8 days.
We shoot 8 days, probably a day or two of second unit, and then they do about 2 or 3 weeks of post, and it can be on the air.
For the production process to go smoothly, everyone has to pull together, the crew and the cast.
It's going to be tough. Everybody from the producers to the sound department to the grips to the actors, we're all dead sprinting right now.
It's a lot of work for not a lot of time on camera, but it always ends up being a great finished product.
Coming up next, there's no stopping Jared and Jensen.
And sometimes I really can't tell whether it's a stuntman or the boys.
And later, one of these supernatural stars had a house full of ghosts. Find out who when 25 Things You Didn't Know About Supernatural TV returns. Number 5. All roads lead to the Hellmouth and X-Files. And one of the bigwigs on X-Files was lured out of semi-retirement to co-executive produce Supernatural.
I directed the X-Files for many years, and I found a show that I love in Supernatural, and I bring what I learned from the X-Files here.
Number 6. Stunt training comes in handy off the set. Stunts are a huge part of supernatural shows, with simulated flights and fake fights banging up even the hardiest cast members.
You get bruised up a little bit. I have some bruises on my elbows and back of my head. I realized I sort of jammed it hard against the wall, but it happens. It's fun.
Every so often I'll watch dailies and I'll say, you know what, we got to cut wider because it's a stunt man. We can't see this. And they're like, no, that's Jared and Jensen up there. I'm like, what? You let Jared and Jensen do that?
I'm getting dragged down a hallway. I'm getting thrown into a couple walls. My stunt double is, at least. I'm sort of doing the pretty boy actor version of, okay, so I'm supposed to get 20 feet thrown into this wall. How about I start like 3 inches away and just back up into it really fast?
3, 2, 1, go!
We had this Ultimate Fighter guy up there who was teaching us all these sort of crazy moves, and just like, all right, I'll do it for the camera, but I hope no one ever does this to me in real life.
But it did, and that on-the-job fight conditioning came in handy.
We got jumped in Vancouver. Jensen and I got jumped, and it was like 8 drunken buffoons, like, coming up swinging at us. 2 of them went to the hospital, and I walked away with a broken hand, basically, but we turned out all right.
Number 11. The Supernatural brothers got their names from a classic book. 2 young guys hitting the road in search of adventure. Sound familiar? The Winchester brothers on Supernatural follow in the tradition of some well-known TV shows.
It's basically sort of an X-Files meets Route 66.
And Supernatural creator Eric Kripke got the boys' names from a classic American book.
It was based on Sal and Dean from Kerouac's On the Road. I'm always naming my characters inspired from somebody. A great mythic American road trip, and Sal and Dean went on the great mythic American road trip. It felt appropriate.
Number 12. Producers and writers do check message boards. Fans of Supernatural and sci-fi themed TV series are notoriously passionate about their shows and generous with their opinions. Their favorite playground? The internet. Actors and producers often surf message boards for the latest viewer analysis.
After every time a show airs, I'm always immediately online to see what the response to the show is. And so, yeah, I'm online all the time.
We have internet on our stages now, so every now and again we'll type in and we'll just look around and do the who's hotter, Jensen or Jared, and I'm like voting for myself and voting for myself. I'm like, Jensen.
And later, what do you get when you mix 2 Supernatural stars and 80,000 bees? It isn't honey. We'll reveal all when we return. For 13, Smallville almost had another Clark Kent.
When I said I wanted you to be happy, I meant it.
These days, you can't even think about Clark Kent without picturing Tom Welling. However, once upon a time, the newbie actor turned down the role.
I was apprehensive to begin with the idea of this show, or at least what I thought the show was going to be.
But thankfully, producers wouldn't take no for an answer. They knew Welling was their guy. Fortunately, Tom had a change of tune.
And once I got an opportunity to see the script and see what the show was about, it won me over quickly.
Tom wasn't the only one up for the role of the Smallville Superboy. Turns out his runner-up was none other than Supernatural's Jensen Ackles.
Many years ago, Tom Welling and I were duking it out for it, but I think they made the right choice.
Number 15. Stand-ins need to be flexible on Supernatural.
My single favorite effect in the whole show was actually not a digital effect. It was a prosthetic makeup effect.
This makeup effect happened in Supernatural's Skin episode, where a mutant being looking exactly like Dean Winchester had to shed its skin.
He like rips off his shirt, and you're like, oh, Dean's shirtless! And then he rips off his skin, and he rips off his ear, and his teeth fall out of his gums.
Did you know the show had a little extra help with that scene? If you think that's all Jensen Ackles, think again.
It wasn't really him. We had hired a contortionist who could, like, bend and get all crazy as he's bending and tearing at his skin.
5 things you didn't know about Supernatural TV returns. Number 17. Imagination is key to acting with ghosts and spirits.
You always feel like this is going to look stupid, this is going to look goofy, but you just, you got to put yourself in the character. It sounds so cheesy.
Number 19. Comedy can make the scary seem scarier. Each week, the WB's Supernatural takes a page out of the Joss Whedon book of creating good fantasy TV. Creator Eric Kripke isn't scared of making his show funny.
I just always, from the beginning, set out for the show to be a fun ride.
In the episode Asylum, the show even pokes fun of itself, as well as other Supernatural-themed series.
Hey, Sam, who do you think's the hotter psychic? Trisha Arquette, Jennifer Love Hewitt, or you?
You never know when a scare's coming when you're laughing. You never know when a laugh's coming when you're scared. It's a great way to keep people on edge and have the show just be a fun, red-blooded horror movie.
And later,
one flew up my shirt and got me right in the back.
Jensen Ackles reveals the hazards of working on a Supernatural show. We've got all that and much more when we return with 25 things you didn't know about Supernatural TV. Number 20. Big screen effects are done on a small screen budget.
You handle special effects on this kind of budget by picking and choosing your moments very carefully.
carefully. You have a different set of shots every week, every 2 weeks. You're into a new episode, a new series of creatures that attack.
In the spooky world of the WB Supernatural, less is more.
I can't tell you how many times brilliant effects guys will show us effects and we'll say, no, less. Because not only is it cheaper, but it actually is scarier.
So the show's visual effects department have to come up with creative ways to deal with monsters of the week like the Wendigo.
We didn't have any CG elements that would work, so we took steel wool and we lit it on fire, and what it does, it creates a nice burning sensation for the Wendigo to burn up.
Not bad, huh?
Number 22. Supernatural stars aren't always believers. While their characters clearly believe in the spirits they meet, the actors on supernatural shows aren't required to put much stock in the unknown. So behind-the-scenes opinions vary widely on the existence of the undead.
I guess there's a part of me that would like to think that there's a scientific reason behind everything, and then there's also a part of me that would like to think that, yeah, there's just some things that are inexplainable.
Number 23. The casts are often as scared as the audience. And these shows are so good that even the cast members get freaked out.
The lines even in this are so scary, sometimes I have trouble rehearsing them alone. Why? Why do you ask?
Most things freak me out while I'm reading the script.
Which star lived in a haunted house? Find out when we return. Number 24. Supernatural stars battled 80,000 bees. The WB Supernatural tackles all sorts of ghosts and urban legends, but in the episode called Bugs, Jared Padalecki and Jensen Ackles had to face some real-life pests.
We had 80,000 real bees. We all got stung.
I remember thinking like, oh, CGI, oh, it's not a big deal. And then we show up and they're like, all right, well, here's the bee trainer here to introduce you to your bees.
All the camera operators and the grips and the lighting guys, they're all in full bee gear. And here's Jared and I in, just normal clothes, kicking it with bees crawling all over our faces.
Like you have to just very slowly move around and fight the bees off.
With 80,000 bees, 2 stars, and 1 terribly small attic, someone was bound to get stung.
Jensen got bit right in the bum when we were rolling. I said, you want to keep going? And he went, yeah, keep going.
Of course, I came out and I grabbed the director's some chewing tobacco and put it in my mouth, got it worked up, stuck the tobacco on. Old Texas remedy, I guess.